Using this model, I'm going to attempt to tell you how using cool and warm colors can make your model stand out. This is Groundeffected, my name is your dad, and this video was sponsored by Magic. More about them later. Before we talk about the colors though, let me briefly show you how I pirate a little LED inside of the helmet of this dude. Of course, you're going to need an LED for this. I chose a pink one, and then you're going to need a soldering iron, some solder, also some flux really helps, and some wires, and you just basically solder it all together. Now, of course, this needs to be powered by a 3-volt battery, and for this I just used a little button battery. And since I usually don't keep lights on my models throughout time, I just pretty much taped the battery to the open-ended wires. Now, one really random thing is that this entire model printed perfectly fine, except for the toe. I don't know why the toe didn't print, but it didn't. And so I'm going to need to sculpt on an extra toe, which is really fitting actually, because this model was sculpted by hand by Magic. And basically they sculpted this model and then they scanned it in and then made it into a 3D part that I could print. But I will tell you a bit more about them later because it's a little bit different to what you think. For the sculpting part, I do need a structure on the inside of the toe, otherwise the toe would just fall off. So what I chose to do was literally cut out a piece of one of my holders for paint things and shove that into the toe. It's literally a piece of metal, and that went into the opening hole that was left over from the print, because the print's obviously hollow. I'm then going to take a bit of milliput and some green stuff and mix these two together to make milliput green stuff, and use that to sculpt this toe. The reason for this is because green stuff alone is a little bit sticky and not so great to work with, and milliput's a little bit too soft. There are a couple of transparent things on this model, which for example are these goggles, and I placed a bit of blue tack into the inside of the eyes to mask them while I painted the rest of the stuff. Then I proceeded to zenithal everything, mostly everything, because of course we need to create the colors on this model, and white is the best undercut color for any of the bright colors to go over the top. The clear bits, like for example the little inside of the lantern and also the bulb on the top of his head, I literally quickly hit them with a fluorescent magenta and then sprayed a nice lovely gloss varnish over the top. This is what creates the effect to make it look like it's a shiny bulby thing, whatever. I quickly want to talk about warmth and cool now, and this is the start of the warmth. The base itself is going to already have this contrast going on, but we need to discuss how this works. Most people think that picking colors is just based on vibes. I like this red, so I will choose red. Oh, blue looks really cool, I'll use that too. Purple's a nice one. It's not the way. That's not how this works at all. It is kind of, but not really. What actually makes a model feel dramatic is it's all about the color and the warmth of those colors, and not just the specific color choice yourself. And this is the difference between a model that looks striking or one that you're going to just place on your mum's mantelpiece. It's not so much the color as it is more about the temperature. Now I know this is going to be a little bit confusing, but this is just how it works. So basically on this base you can already see me using temperature to control the visual effect of the model. The brown that I sprayed down at first is a warm color. I knew that I was going to be painting these little cobblestones with a gray, and of course one of the grays that I usually use is normally quite a cool gray. In this case it was a greeny gray at start, and then I worked my way up to a neutral color. I'm also going to add a little bit of a blue wash over the top of them, and so that contrast against the red, or at least the brown, I know that it's brown but it's a reddy brown, and those two contrasts against each other is what makes them stand apart. This video was sponsored by Magic Studio. Magic Studio is a website run by a Canadian artist called Frederick. He is creating hand-sculpted designs of original characters that live in his own fantasy world and has the same name as the website, Magic. This model that I'm painting is the mouse who yearned to be a mage, a mouse that is learning to use his magical powers in his realm to defend people. All the models are physically produced by Magic Studios. the 3 size options. Your model will be provided cleaned and cured, so all you need to do is glue and paint. Yes, these are not 3D printed models. It's something slightly different. Perhaps for those of you who ask, where can I get one of these models? Well, this is the time that you can actually get one of these models. And if you are considering getting one of them, well, Madzik Studio is giving a 25% discount if you use the code Groundeffected when purchasing any of their statues. Of course, this is slightly different to the STLs that I usually show. This is a physical model, but this comes from an artist who sculpted this thing in real life and then scanned it in to make reproduction, and you can buy one of them for yourself. Please go check out the sponsor in the description. It'll be the first link that's in there. Don't ask me where do I get this model, because it's that first link, mate. Just click the description. And thank you so much, Madzik, for sponsoring this video. I want to be totally honest here. I don't actually sit here thinking about the color theory and a color wheel and the chart and how these colors, none of that. All of this is natural to me, but that's because I've placed these colors next to each other before and gone, that looks pretty good next to that color. So what I want to try and get across here is that it's not about what the color is, it's what about the color it's sitting next to. It's really hard to actually explain this, but in theory, warm colors grab attention. Cool colors just sit in the background like your mate who says he'll help you move the house and then vanishes. On their own, they are just colors, but when you put them together, they make each other stronger, just like me and your mum. And with this in mind, I'm painting the model of this rat to have these striking contrasts between each other. So for example, the skin on the rat is going to be a pinky kind of color. I reinforced that pink using the magenta because I knew that his skin tone is going to need to stand off against the fur, and the fur, I'm using a cool color. Literally, it's practically blue at this point. It's not really blue. It's lift off waffle gray, but it's basically blue though, so that is a cool color, and the skin itself is a warm color. So these two things contrast against each other, but they don't just contrast, they complement each other. They make each other a little bit more striking. On the highlights of the blue, however, I went a little bit warmer. It's not completely warm, but it's a little bit warmer, and what this forces in your eyes is the perception of depth. So I'm going to now put a little bit of a darker blue into the shadows, and because of that highlight on the top being a little bit warmer and the blue that I had placed down before, it creates so much more depth throughout the fur, and the contrast of that against the pinkish skin is the entire complementary series of these colors being put together. At first, this may seem a little bit confusing, but it's not as confusing as you think it is. I want to just say that most people seem to confuse the fact of, to use contrast, people think that you need light and dark, and that is part of it. However, if you create something that is light and dark, you will just have a sort of a flattish looking, it won't be flat because you will have light and you will have dark, but if you had to make sure that your dark is actually a cooler color and your light is a warmer color, or at least slightly verging on becoming warmer, you would have created a deeper perceived depth. And I say the word perceived quite a few times in this video because this is the thing. Your eyes are seeing things and your brain is telling you what your eyes are seeing. So the reality is what you do actually in fact see is not exactly what your brain might tell you you're seeing, and your brain can tell you things that your eyes are tricking you. So basically, we're forcing the brain to see things. That's what we're doing. This is used in every aspect of life practically. To be fair, if you're looking at an advert on a billboard, they will be using warm and cool colors, even if the person that did it didn't think about it. But the thing is, as a professional artist in an artistry area, you don't think about these things because you've done the training and the practice that just makes these things become natural. So in order to force yourself to learn about these things, the way I would suggest is to physically think, is this color cool? And if it is, I'm going to use it in the shadowed areas. So for example, like on the skin of the fur, should I say, I used that blue color as the base color. This was because I'm starting out with that and I'm going to start building highlights over the top of that. So if you think about things in warm and cool versus just dark and light, you will start to see things will change a little bit in how your models actually look. Now, annoyingly for me, because I don't actually think about this as a solid sit down and, right, I'm going to use blue for this color and red for that color because this is going to work like this and this is going to work like that. It's not how I do things. The way I paint is I usually paint the color I think the object needs to be, and then I sort of adjust it from there. If I think it needs a bit more depth or something to go darker in the shadows, basically, I will then add a bit more blue. And you'll notice this across all of my paintings. Usually I'll use something like Drakenhof Nightshade or Caribou Crimson or something like that, and I may spray that in the shadow of the model on the top of the base. So you don't often think about that, but I actually add a shadow of the model on the base. So where you would place nothing before, I'm literally painting in a shadow as if the model itself is casting the shadow on the base. And this may seem like a crazy thought, but this is exactly what makes things more depth. They make them stand out more and they complement each other a whole lot better. I think it's important for us to try and visualize this. Imagine if I painted all of the fur with a nice warm brown, the tentacle on the base is a warm red tentacle, and the lantern that I painted is a lovely warm yellow. Everything is warm. It's just going to be flat. Nothing will stand out. It will become what we would call a visual soup. But if I flip that and painted everything cool, it's going to end up looking lifeless. But knowing this is important because you can now adjust the way you want to paint things. So for example, if you wanted to paint a person to look a little bit more undead, well then you're going to use cooler colors, blues and purples and things like that. The main reason that I paint all of my models' skin tones with a vibrant pink underneath the skin tones is because I want that warmth in the skin. This makes their skin look like it looks super lifelike. As in, not realistic, but it looks like there's a lot of life and warmth going in there. I don't want them to look cold and dead. I want them to stand out. And most of the time, the characters that we paint have got these contrast colors inside of them, specifically superheroes and things like that. They use warm and cool colors to contrast and complement each other. Think of Spider-Man. He's red and he's blue. He's both warm and cool, and that's what makes him super epic. So when I was asked to paint this model, I figured it would be the best way for me to show you this exact concept, and considering that the model was now done, you can see it in practice. There is every possibility that I go back and check through my voiceover while I finish cutting and editing this video, and I realize that I sounded like I was speaking my own word soup, but maybe you understood what I was saying. It's really hard for me personally to explain this kind of stuff because the reality of it is I don't really think of it like that. It's not that I don't ever think about it. My thought pattern is he needs to be a grey color. So how do I make that a little bit darker? Well, I can't use black because that would look stupid. So how am I going to make him look a little bit darker in the shadows? I'll just use a bluer grey. And how am I going to make his highlights look brighter? I'll use a warmer grey. I don't even think I'll use a bluer or a warmer grey. It's just, they're so natural to me, so that's what makes it really hard to explain this. And I imagine it makes it hard for many people to explain exactly this concept to anyone else in the world, because it's something that becomes natural. It's something that you notice when you're painting something and you realize that, hey, these two colors look friggin' fantastic next to each other, and you just don't know why. So you just use it in the next model and you keep using it going forward, and eventually it becomes a part of your style. We are obviously at the end of the video, and I really truly hope that you managed to get something out of this, that even my weirdest, most randomest explanation of things actually settles somewhere inside of your mind, and you try this on your next model. We're also at the point where I need to say a massive thank you to everybody who watches my channel, and very importantly a thank you to the Patreons who actually allow this to happen. If you're interested in having a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, there is some extra videos. It's not crazy over there, but there is some extra videos of different things, me explaining certain techniques and stuff. You also get a color palette every single week. So go check it out in the link in the description down below. Also check out the sponsor and go and support someone who creates some original artworks, because we damn sure need that in this world of 2026. This is the end of the video, and I would like to say to you, if you didn't like anything you saw, I really don't care, and you should probably now f*** off.